Right, so I'm back and I'm just going to be doing a couple of adjustments and also painting a little bit of a background. I see there's a bit of a smudge there on the paper, so I'm going to just see if it moves. It's moving. Still a bit of extra paint there on the edge. That's fine. We can just smooth that out. Perfect. And what I want to do here is just add a little bit of blue in the background. And for that, I'm going to wet the paper. The paper is dry, but there's a couple of little areas that are buckling somewhat. So it's possible that there are a few areas still that are somewhat damp, but not enough to make a difference here for what I want to do. So I'm just putting water pretty much everywhere on the white areas. I'm not going to paint all the white areas. I haven't decided exactly, except that I know I want some blue kind of going down, maybe this way. This is going to be, I still have pencil lines for where I want to put the branches. So I want to get some of the blue around the leaf shape up here and bring that into the center. I'll need a smaller brush for that. But for the big spaces, the larger areas, I can probably just use my big brush. And what's on my brush right now is this color, very pale. And it's a phthalo blue, pretty bright color. Let's compare that with this one here. And this is my Prussian. Yeah, so Prussian is a little greenier. So I'm going to take the Prussian and I'm just going to start laying in that color. And I'm going around, we can leave some little white edges. And because I wet the background before I started, I'm not too worried about making lines because I'm trying to just go right around here, this shape. And like I said, even if I miss a few little spots, that doesn't matter. And I don't care to have the blue everywhere, so I'm just going to leave some little areas around this shape. So as you can see, I'm coming down into the painting, and I'm not, it doesn't have to be perfectly painted all the way to the edge at the top. That's what I'm trying to get at here. Just trying to get a little bit of a color difference so that we have something a little bit more interesting in the background. And if I go on my main shapes a little bit, it's not a big deal as long as you're not getting too much in there. Like you can see here, I've created a little bit of an edge. I can pick that up a bit and make it softer. And I can actually go over some areas, and when we do that, we're glazing over top of a color. So if I take that blue and I go over the leaf shape, I just get a darker brown. So let's do that over here. I'll go right over the stem, and you see what happens. Color didn't really change that much, it just got a little darker. Because this is such a light color of blue, it's so I would call it glazing. Basically the glazing, all it does is it adjusts the color a little bit, tones it down. Okay. I'm looking for continuous What I did on that side, I want to do it on this side. Now I'm going to, because I don't want it to go all the way to all of the edges. I might just stop right about here. There. So that this feels like it's coming from the top down into the right area here. And then into the corner, trying to not have whites in the corners. So I have 3 corners of color, which is fine. 1 corner, which is white, which is good, because in this corner, I'm also going to have the stem coming up. So for a stem, you might want to try a little square brush. And for that, maybe some sort of a brown. So how do we get brown? Well, first we mix orange. So that would be a yellow and a red. Okay, let's take a look at that. Very dark, okay? And a little bit of blue. It's pretty nice. Add a bit more water to that, a little bit more pigment, nice and dark. Okay, now I'm not going to put this on these areas yet, but I'm just going to start it right here and we'll see what it looks like. So that'll be the start of a stem. And I will continue my stem into the painting, but after it's dry. And this is, maybe we can make it just a little bit bigger. And also what we can do is we can add a bit of darker color. Stem doesn't have to be one color. And to make that brown darker, I'm just putting in more blue, but right on the paper. And I'm just gonna, I think I want this to kind of go around that leaf shape. So this is gonna be a little thicker. Finding that it needs to kind of wrap around the tip there. If we have a tip meeting up with a line, that doesn't really work very well. So now I have this, I have the tip of this shape that looks like it's on top of the branch. I hope that makes sense. All right, and then when I'm done, when I'm done drawing this off, I'll come back and we will continue the branch. And here, it's dry because I didn't touch this. I'm just going to leave a little more white. So I'm just rubbing a little bit of color off and I'm lifting some of the color that was there just so that I have a bit more contrast here in the tip. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, let's continue this on. We're almost done this painting, just finishing off the branches, and that'll be it. Over here, I wrapped that little piece of the branch around the shape here, and I'm going to imagine that the shape continues into that. Continues into the painting here. And then we try to work it up into the rest of the composition. I'm just trying to make it go up and down, in and about here. and then something that branches off this way. And then continues up here. And it's not very dark, and that's okay because we can go back and we can darken it. I don't mind making a mess now of my little pools because I'm done. The painting is done, so I can just use whatever is here. I'll keep my red because I will probably want to use my red later. And so I'm trying not to make it too dirty, but here that's okay. A little more blue. I'm just trying to make a couple of little branchy shapes that come down into the painting. A little bit more of that brown. Very dark. It's got a lot of blue in it. And oops, for this here, maybe we can show that this is attached to this area somehow. And they're all connected. Okay, so what do I do next? What I always do, and I can't finish a painting without doing that, is I take it, I lift it up, and I look at it in the mirror. So I have a mirror behind me, and it's a gauge for me. It tells me where I should make a change. And the only thing I see right here that I didn't like immediately was that this was too thin at the bottom. And it's just because that one's so thick, and it's because typically branches get thinner as they get bigger or they get taller, right? So this is not exactly what it would look like. The branch, I did not use the branch in front of me that these leaves were from. So I kind of improvised that. So it doesn't really look like what it probably looked like on the actual tree shape outside. But that doesn't matter because what I'm doing here is just, yeah, it's just a little interpretation of what's out there. And I'm just going to remove some of that white here. We don't need all that white at the bottom of the painting, so we can just make it go away. Here, I had some really nice little shadow, little lights here, so I'm just going to put a little bit of color around the whiteness here and bring that out a little bit more, make it look like it's a part of the leaf here. Add just a little bit more color maybe. All right. This will all dry much lighter. And here also, I noticed also in the mirror that I wanted to do some continuity of that really dark shape here, or dark space, I should say, and maybe add a little bit more on this side. Because what we often try to do is we try to balance what's on one side and on the other. Now, it's possible that if the shape is turning or if it bends inwards or whatever, then you'll only have shadow on one side and not the other. That's fine too. In that case, we would just maybe do a little bit of a line like this. But when I saw that one, I thought I don't like it, so we'll fix that. Also, what I noticed is that there's a very blunt change in color here. So I'm just going to add some more, a little bit more of that red, brighten it up here. Okay. And maybe even here a bit. Give it a little bit more oomph. Okay, and under here, typically we would like to show that there's a little bit of a shadow. It just looks like the leaf shape is actually, this one is on top of this one. And yeah, so I'd say that's it for this one. Thanks for watching.